Technical founders build these companies. They know the product, they know the problem it solves, but when time comes to take it to the market, there's a logical fallacy that almost no one speaks out loud. Network equals market. It doesn't. A couple of years in, the pipeline makes that very clear. So what happens next? A marketer is brought in, absolutely no clear expectations, and instead of forcing in the hard conversation, the marketer starts working around the ambiguity. More content is produced, few campaigns are run, few outreach activities happen. Even I have done that. But what happens is nothing moves the needle. Not because anyone is incompetent here, but because the foundation is missing. Hi everyone, my name is Jayesh. I am a GTM and growth practitioner. Let's have a detailed look into what this situation looks in reality. The first problem, when the positioning is built from inside out. For most companies, positioning is not defined, it's inherited, which is technically fine to an extent. But when existing clients define the messaging, the channels, what works, what doesn't, when the entire strategy is reverse engineered from a handful of relationships, that's a big red flag. Philip Kotler's STP, which is segmentation, targeting, positioning, gets skipped entirely. And even if you simplify it to just 3 questions, what does your company do? Who are your customers? And what are your competitors doing? In most of these cases, even the first and the third are never asked. The market is discarded, competitors are invisible, the whole focus stays on the existing set of clients. Now don't get me wrong, this is workable. If you are serving, for example, the North American market, getting a few enterprise logos is not rocket science, right? And getting a ARR of $3 to $8 million, you are set. But when you try to achieve a non-linear scale, you hit the ceiling before you realize. And to do a damage control, you start running A/B tests, you start running a few experiments, you try to fail fast, learn. But one thing that goes missing is that the hypothesis is wrong in the first place. The sample consists of mostly the people who have already said yes. That means the output that you get out of these experiments is statistically insignificant. Now let's come to the marketer's POV. Whether it is curiosity or a mandate, but what happens is a rampant use and abuse of AI. It feels great. I'm not saying don't use it, but when you are a one-person marketing team spending more than half your time prompting and reviewing outputs, the latent costs are real. Every hour inside an AI loop is an hour not spent defining your market. And there is another subtler cost. The more time you spend there, the more your thinking gets shaped by models' defaults. Your own instincts, which is built from actually studying and knowing your buyer, somehow takes a backseat. It has happened with me on multiple instances. The content you produce becomes average of what everyone else is saying, because that's the knowledge base of generative AI. It doesn't build pipeline, it just builds on the existing noise. Now there's an interesting article that I came across lately, is that more than half of all the content on the internet today is AI generated, and that's just a couple of years work. Which means everything we are producing and everything we are consuming is generated by the same models which are trained on each other. Does it sound scary? I think it should, right? To an extent. Now both these problems that we discussed, these are not exhaustive problems, but these are the ones that needs to be addressed first. And they point to the same core issue, which is a lack of foundation. So what is the solution? Before you produce any content, before you do any outreach, before you run any campaign, 4 core questions need absolute clear answers without any scope of ambiguity. Who exactly are you trying to reach? What is the specific message that moves them? Which channel actually reaches them with the intent you originally meant? And here's the thing about the last one. Your ICP exists across multiple channels, but there's only one channel where the timing is right. That's exactly what we're going to discuss next. If any of this is resonating with your current situation, please do share your thoughts and do consider subscribing, because we are going to produce interesting content along these lines. And those contents will give you very concrete answers and direction. Thank you so much for watching this video.